Monday, the 29th of August, and things are very neutral right now. And while neutrality is within this range of around 38 to about 42, and currently now at $40.59, that puts us within the neutral state. We are, however, making these higher lows and these higher highs. Moving on towards the quarter day or 6 hour chart, currently within that of a little bit of a wedge formation, and simply that means you have an uptrend and a downtrend line that is still active right now. It too is also between the neutrality bands, which is between that of 39 and 2/3 and 41 and 1/3, as we can see in here within our Fibonacci sequence, as far as the 5-day moving average test is concerned. It looks as if during this test in here is that if it manages to break below this band, right now the 18, or this case, the 5-day average of lows is set at $40.39. These averages are all front weighted average. It's not simple. It's not the EMAs. It's a front weighted average. And by finding the resistance within this band and breaking lower and definitely breaking below this low here of 39-ish or so, 38 and 2/3, then that will create that of a failure within trying to break above it, or a pass as far as trying to at least make another wave lower within a declining 5-day moving average. I was reporting well before it first passed the test in here that it was very indecisive going above and below this significant points, and we're seeing further continuation within that pattern as well. Because as it broke above it, its first test within this 5-day moving average didn't really do so much. It had that leg lower. We're going above and below it again. And now this moving average is declining. But again, so much neutrality waiting for things to happen. And it doesn't seem as if much will probably happen until that of after Labor Day, which now is only a week away. Moving on towards the weekly term time frame, showing more towards the consolidation. All of this indecision that we've been seeing is trying to distinguish its next trend. We can see things more clearly within here, how we are still seeing previous resistance hold up as support ever since the big short-term crash. Therefore, we see resistance, it gets above it, and now that level has been supported, and you can see it really well within the 18-period average, because originally it was a very flat average since it broke down, and it's still flat for that matter today, but it was using this 18-period average of closes as resistance and breaking through the average of lows. Now it is using this 18-period average of closes as support rather than that of resistance, and rather than breaking through the lower part, it's breaking through the higher level. Now, as much as people want to say, okay, no, for sure we're definitely breaking this resistance, breaking this point, it's all good to go. And if we go lower, we'll definitely hold 33 or whatever. And there really is no definitely's within it. Because the psychology is, if you make a big move, in this case it's down, and it does not get above or really that much above the significant 2/3 retracement or 61.8, which is at 42 and change, and it manages to go back lower, it could very easily do such a case. However, with that being said, when we now see the setup that is currently being played, where it's just like I said, former resistance becoming that of support, I would be looking really big for our breakout above this level for things to really pick up. And that'll now take us to the monthly chart. And this is where I'm going to make my case for that of $120 silver. And I'm going to use Fibonacci to explain why. Now, since the market broke out pretty much a year ago, it's now been a little over a year. it has managed to make it up towards this band, and this is a homemade band, and merely all this does is it takes the volatility or the front weighted volatility of the last 18 periods. And volatility is simply taking the highest point of a period, subtracting the lowest point, and then dividing it by the lowest point to get a percentage move from lowest to highest. So therefore, I take the average of that percentage move and I multiply it by 3 to get triple that percentage. And then that percentage increase is now put on towards the top end of the band. Also, the same difference from point A to point B is the same from point C to point D. You got it? Alrighty. Now, as far as making that case, we are seeing it's come back down to this 18-period average of highs. It's continuing the momentum forward. Now, the reason for Fibonacci to tell me 120 is oftentimes within these Fibonacci marks, they just seem to line up so amazing with major levels of support and resistance. Therefore, the next level this would have to come up towards for me to say, yeah, it's in an area where I think we can find where it's supposed to be a key level, would be 32. Therefore, if this was 32, then this line would move up towards this area in here. And that would be the significant reason in itself that I would think it's going to 120 as an area where we would notice a significant top, sort of like the $50 area was. Now, whenever you see this type of situation, you have to tell yourself, well, yes, it's been going higher for quite some time, and it even started this chart with a nice uptrend. Should I still believe that it's going to be going higher? And when I look at the fundamentals for the entire system of fiat currency, then yeah, I kind of would see that situation to come into play. And now if I want to make a case for higher numbers, like, yeah, you say 120, but come on, this is going to 500 or it's going to 1,000 or whatever number you want to give. Okay, yes, but what I think will happen is before we see any 500 or 1,000 or anything even higher than that we will first, or beforehand, we will see 120 before we see 500. A lot of this technical analysis is going one step at a time, and by seeing this current situation here, seeing how it had a decent sized correction, an okay sized rally, and within the okay sized rally and an okay sized correction, that there could be a lot of juice left going, and when these bands start going higher, I would expect it to keep going until the top band meets up with this level in here. Now the second situation is this. After that one is done, after we find this line here, what would the next one be? Well, this line to go up to 50, which would thus bring this line up to about in here. And if that's the case, that would be about 250. Now this is long term, ahead of the box thinking, but when you're looking at longer term charts, monthly being really the shortest term that you'd want to look for the long term that is, then you would say to yourself, yeah, if I'm looking long term, I'm going to be thinking long term. If I'm looking short term, then I'm going to be thinking short term. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.